Good afternoon to all. My name is Walter Albarran. I am an assistant state conservationist for field operations here in the state of Florida for the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Thank you. Also along with me here today is Albarran Vega. Israel is our district conservationist for the Sarasota field office covering Manatee, Sarasota, and Charlotte counties. Our agency, the NRCS, is one of many of the United States Department of Agriculture. We have been around for a little bit of over 80 years, providing leadership in partnership effort to help private landowners conserve their soil, water, and other natural resources. Our mission is helping people help the land. As I mentioned, we've been around for a little bit over 80 years. Our agency was created in 1935. We were formerly known as the Soil Conservation Service because, in the past, that's basically what we did. We worked with producers to help them address soil erosion concerns. But as the years have gone by, we have become more engaged with working with producers, not only on soil conservation, but several other resource concerns. As such, basically in the 1990s, our name was changed to what is today the Natural Resources Conservation Service, to better reflect the broadened scope of our agency's mission. So currently, we carry on this legacy by working with to protect soil, our nation's soil, water, air, plants, animals, and energy. And we work with farmers and ranchers to help them make good conservation decisions on their lands, and as such protect natural resources while maintaining or improving their agricultural productivity. That is one of the things that we always have, in mind to help producers improve on their agricultural productivity. So forms of assistance, our programs are voluntary. We're not a regulatory agency. Producers have to apply to be able to participate from our programs. When they do, we provide them with technical guidance, technical assistance, and also financial assistance. So here in the slide, we have basically our two types of assistance: conservation technical assistance, which is technical assistance, conservation planning, and financial assistance, which is provided to the financial system programs. Conservation planning. Basically, the participants or clients, producers, have to contact one of our offices. And basically, here in Area 3, we're Florida NRCS Area 3, and we cover 16 counties. We have field offices located in Bartow, Cocoa, Wauchula, Kissimmee, Tavares, Sarasota, San Antonio, and Plant City. And we also have an office here in Fort Myers. So upon contacting the office, you will first be provided with technical assistance for conservation planning. Many of you will probably hear first about NRCS through the release of information about our financial assistance programs, financial assistance that is available. But basically, the process starts with conservation planning. The financial assistance is basically a tool that we have available to help producers implement implement the conservation plan. So the conservation plan assistance we provide using a 9-step conservation planning process, which basically, I'm not going to go through these steps, but basically they're listed here, our 9 steps. And basically what we do is, in these 9 steps is we go out to your property, we identify your goals and objectives, we do a resource assessment of the property, we identify resource concerns, and once we have identified those resource concerns, we come up with solutions to address any resource concern that may be present on your farm or operation. Those proposed solutions are basically approved conservation practices, and practices that NRC has developed through the use of using sound science. So like I mentioned, we go out, we identify research concerns, we propose some solutions, some conservation practices to address those. And then it's basically a discussion with the producer as to, based on his goals and objectives, what he may be able to implement. So the record of these decisions of, what we're going to implement to address, those research concerns, that is basically what turns into the conservation plan. And that's basically, after that is when the financial assistance programs come in. And I also want to mention that, when producers apply for financial assistance, those producers that have already a conservation plan developed, they will be given higher points throughout the evaluation process for that financial assistance. And before we go into the financial assistance, I just want to go through our basically types of practices. The conservation practices are basically divided on structural, vegetative, and management. For example, some of our structural practices, irrigation practices to water conservation on the cropland areas, for livestock operations, livestock fencing, livestock watering facilities, and other several practices, as well as brush management and pest management for control of invasives. So then let's talk about our financial assistance programs. Our financial assistance programs were authorized, some of them were reauthorized through the 2014 Farm Bill, also known as the 2014 Agriculture Act. The 2014 Agriculture Act has helped many thousands of producers and people across the nation. It has helped producers address resource concerns, install many conservation practices, and it has helped also some of them build resilience to overcome challenges related to climate change. So financial assistance programs, basically some of our main programs is the Environmental Quality Incentive Programs, and that is one that we're going to be covering in more detail today. We also have the Conservation Stewardship Program, previously known, there was a previous version through another Farm Bill that was the Conservation Security Program. This is basically that same program. And then the Agriculture Conservation Easement Program. And we're not going to cover that also today because I believe last year at this event that program, there was a presentation about this program. And basically, like I mentioned, the financial assistance is a tool to implement, that conservation practices, identify needed for, producers' operation. And basically, we do that through providing contracts. We obligate funding based on, the different practices, based on that year's cost estimate. And then once the practices are implemented, then we can pay for, those practices that have been installed. So now I'm going to leave you with Israel Vega, and Israel is going to cover in more detail about the environmental quality incentive programs.
Thank you, Walter. Like Walter's mentioned, my name is Israel Vega. I'm the district conservationist at the Minnesota Service Center, and we cover 3 counties, Charlotte, Manatee County, and Sarasota County. Today I will be presenting our main program. The most popular program that we have is the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. And we have other programs under the Farm Bill, but this one is the most common one. First, let's start of what is EQIP. EQIP is the Environmental Equality Incentive Program, and it's a volunteer program. Most of our programs are volunteer. Pretty much all programs are. And they provide financial assistance and technical assistance to producers to address resource concerns, to improve water, soil, wildlife, etc. EQIP is to help also producer to meet federal, state, tribal, and local environmental regulations. So, and who can apply through our EQIP or our programs are anyone that owns agricultural land or are a producer that are engaged in agricultural, such as livestock, forest production, etc. How does EQIP work? So EQIP, like I said before, is a part of the Farm Bill legislation provided to NRCS with authority to provide financial assistance payment through EQIP to eligible producers to help implement approved conservation practice on eligible land. What happens once you get a contract? Okay, landowners are paid based on the practice that they install, and the payment will be after the practice is certified. And it's a fixed payment that is already established by the cost list, depending on what type of land use. Also, program participant may not exceed $450,000 per farm bill. So we currently are under the 2014 Farm Bill, which is run every 5 years. So starting back in 2014 and expire in 2018. Farm Bill legislation also has established that conservation program benefit are limited to individual or entities with an adjusted gross income that cannot exceed $900,000 per year. You have to be less or at $900,000. And the way we evaluate that is taking the tax for the last 3 tax years that immediately preceding the year of the original contract obligation. Under producers can also qualify under the historical underserved producers. That's a category that NRCS have for that, and they can follow on any of the following: limited resource farmer or rancher, beginner farmer, social disadvantaged producer, and tribal and veteran. May be eligible for increased, the difference is that they may be eligible for increased practice payment. If you have a specific or concern about each category, what I can say, just give us a call and we go and look at the specific category that the producer may fall into. Our general EQIP. General EQIP conservation, almost all agricultural land use covers almost all agricultural use. EQIP payment initially were based on 50%, but now it's a fixed rate that is established by the NRCS regional committee, and is established on a cost list. The cost list is can be found on our NRCS Florida website, and for each farm pool, like pasture, cropland, etc. NRCS staff will visit the farm and ranch and write a personal conservation plan with the conservation practice we can submit for cost share. But prior to that visit, we help the producer to establish a farm record. That means that the farm has to have a farm number and tract number by FSA, which is the agency we work together, which is FSA, Farm Service Agency, and they need to establish their record and fill out some AGA forms and wetland determination forms, but we help them to go through that, and then we schedule a farm visit to determine what resource concerns are there and how we can address those resource concerns. The most common practice includes fencing, herbaceous weed control, livestock well, electric solar pump, water facility, prescribed burning, micro-irrigation system, polytube and emitter replacement, mulching, seasonal high tunnel, and like I say, the cost list is a public document and could be found in our website. Or you can call your local NRCS field office, and we can provide that through email or by email. Applications are taken year-round. Batching date is usually the end of October, and application funding start in March, April. This year, that's an incorrect batching period. They say December 18, but this year have been changed. That's what it used to be. This year, the batching period, the deadline for submitting application is October 21st. October 21st. Applications are funded by ranking in the state from the top down until funds run out. So every application that makes before or by October 21st will be evaluated for fiscal year 2000 funding of fiscal year 2017. New practices added to EQIP this year, or let's say last year, it was giant smuggrass treatment, which is now under Category 1 in the invasive species, windmills for livestock water systems, and aquaculture. We used to not have that category on EQIP, but it's being added, and they have their own cost list. If you know anyone or any producer interested on practices under aquaculture, just call the office, and we try to answer all the questions. If we don't have the question right away, we will find it and send it. But we certainly will evaluate the operation, and we will come with some recommendation and potentially practice that we can provide the technical assistance and the financial assistance. EQIP initiative program, under EQIP, they have several initiatives, like seasonal high tunnel, organic initiative, farm energy initiative, air quality initiative, lone leaf initiative, and Everglades initiative. The last one have couple counties that are into that initiative. Charlotte County have just the southeast section or area that are into that initiative. Seasonal high tunnel. This practice assists agricultural producers to extend the growing season. It's a high tunnel crop needs to be planted on the ground, not on table. It has to be just on the ground. Crop must be planted right there. Organic initiative is the other one. The organic initiative provides financial assistance to implement a broad set of conservation practice to assist organic producers in addressing resource concerns, including but not limited to assist with developing a conservation plan, establish buffer zones, planning and installing pollinator habitat, improve soil quality and organic matter while minimizing erosion, in developing a grazing plan and supportive livestock practice, improving irrigation efficiency, and enhancing cropping rotation and nutrient management. Also, I need to mention that under organic initiative, we can, with you through the certification, and we have some practice that will assist you financially to get that USDA organic certification. The National Longleaf Pine Initiative is just to restore the longleaf ecosystem, and there are several 9 states that are within that initiative. We have practice from planting to site preparation, and this initiative will require a stewardship plan from Forestry Service with the recommendations of the maintenance and preparation to establish the longleaf pine. On Farm Energy Initiative. Through the EQIP National on Farm Energy Initiative, financial assistance is available for site-specific energy analysis of eligible farmstead and irrigation system. This analysis, known as an Agricultural Energy Management Plan, or AGM, is completed by NRCS certified technical service provider. So it's someone outside NRCS, but is approved by NRCS to do that type of study or audit, that we call it. The AGM meets industry standard and clearly shows itemized energy used by individual systems to establish a baseline for electricity and other full improvement, recommendation for equipment improvement and upgrade, amount of potential energy reduction, and financial saving for each recommendation, cost estimate of potential improvement. Everything that shows on that audit or study, that's the first step. We will help the producer to make the changes to save the energy, to take them to the purpose of reducing the energy on farm. And the Everglades Initiative in Charlotte, which I mentioned earlier, compound several counties, those that are beige color, but only Charlotte is only on the southeast section. Well, up to here, that's my presentation. If you have any question, feel free to contact the office or the local office. And if you're not a producer but you know anyone that may be interested on our program, please pass the information or the contact information, and we will be more than glad to assist them.